Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 41 of the EdTech Chat and Chew podcast. I'm Mike Soskel from Pennsylvania, and with me today is EdTech Chat and Chew podcast team member Karen.
Hello.
And we have two very special guests today that I'm going to tell you after our bell stops ringing. With us today from Kansas, we have Stacey and Andrea. Is it Andrea or Andrea?
Andrea.
Andrea, okay. Andrea and Stacey, both of whom are doing some really amazing things with a water filter project going on between their students in Greece, our friend Iro, a friend of the show, and some of my students here in Pennsylvania, and they're going to give us an update on where we are right now. So today's topic is student service projects, which fits perfectly in with what Project LINC and what the kids are doing. So, Karen, what do you think? Student service. What springs to mind when you think of that?
I start thinking about some of the kiddos in EPISD who are actually actively a part of student service. We have a little girl who actually started her own little organization called Pennies for Fur, and she's actually collecting donations to help our animal shelter out here. And so, I guess I'm thinking about some of those things and maybe other ways that we could have projects for our students more on a wide scale instead of just one student who's getting it going all on her own.
Yeah, I've seen so many students, use their passions to do good in the world. And one of the things that's most inspiring for me is when you see those kids really connect and not just learn, but use their learning for good. That's the kind of learning that sticks with them forever. Is that what you guys have seen also through this Project LINC?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say, I know like with this one child, she has a parent that is helping to motivate her and kind of inspire her and help her along the way. And I love that we've got teachers who are doing that on a whole class level or a whole school level to help other people.
We, in the past for service learning, we've done different fundraisers and things to benefit like the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and some organizations like that. And then the one that we had before Project LINC that really made it personal for our kids is they knew a local young lady that needed a guide dog, and this young lady also had many many medical bills and all other things, and so our school actually raised the amount of money so that this girl could purchase the life dog or the guide dog. So that was one that definitely was very personal because they knew exactly who it was going to benefit, and she ended up being able to bring the guide dog when she got it to the school, and there was some good closure to that as well.
In our community.
I think with Project LINC, we even took that a step further because we did the same thing as with the guide dog and made it personal, but also applied to our standards.
Can you share a little bit about what Project LINC is, just for anybody who hasn't heard about it in the past?
Yeah, definitely share more. And also, one of the things that you guys did, you did so much more than fundraising with your kids. They really delved into all the different areas of the curriculum. So yeah, go ahead and tell us a little bit more.
Well, it began back in October. We had learned that our friends in Nairobi were having problems with their water, and basically it was very contaminated. And we sat down with a group of teachers and said, what could we do? How could we work this into our standards? And so for science, we built water filters. We could only use the materials that they had in Nairobi. And then when we were done, the winning team then taught our friends in Nairobi how to build it. In math, they worked on the math aspect of it, working with how big of a house they live in. And we'll go ahead, Stacey.
So we our 6th and 7th grade math students, basically every 6th and 7th grade student was involved in Project LINC in some way. It was cross-curricular in science, math, social studies, art, vocal music, school publications, and our student council. And so in math, they really looked into the economics of water. They compared the size of the area of houses with homes here where we live in the U.S. to the size of the homes in Nairobi. They looked at the cost of a life straw and how many bottles of water that would be equivalent to and how many years that would last. They looked at the percentage of income that they used or that they spend in Nairobi on contaminated water versus the percent that we spend here on clean water. And then we even did kind of an unconference ed camp model where students, after all of those things, were able to choose their own area of interest to explore the math implications as well for the topic. And I think a big thing about the fundraising is that that wasn't a staff decision. That was completely student driven.
They had to make a proposal to our principal, and then our principal narrowed down the number, and then the kids, they voted. So it 100% came, their idea of what they wanted, how they wanted to do the fundraising came from them. We tried to make this project from day one be very student-driven, down to the letter that was written to the parents explaining what was going on for our project. That was done by one of our journalism students. Even the logo, that was created by our journalism students. We wanted it to be student-driven.
Right, the Project LINC name.
Yes, even the Project LINC name, they created it. We just said, okay, that works, and
we've been the facilitators and the guides and helping problem solve. One of my favorite moments was when we were doing one of the ed camp models in the math classes where they were investigating whatever they chose, and I had several groups investigating which life straw would be the most economical and the best deal. And I had the group come up and they said, we really just need to call Life Straw. We need to call them. And I said, okay, here's the phone. And that was a pretty awesome moment. And so they called and kind of struck out with the first try. They didn't have a lot of follow-through from the company, and so they kept going, and they found the second company that they contacted was phenomenal. They worked with us, Skyped with our students. They did a group Skype with our students here in Kansas and the class in Greece. And as a result of that partnership, they agreed to donate what we have learned now, 7 community life straws for the 2 schools in Nairobi. So that's enough for 500 and it's 500 and some students for clean water. And then so in combination of that partnership with Life Straw, filtered by manufactured by the Vestergaard company, they are doing that and even installing it while Mike is in Nairobi next week. So he's going to be able to document that for us and Skype with our students so they can see full circle the benefit of that. Then also through the fundraising that the school in Kansas has done and the school in Pennsylvania has done, we're also going to be able to provide clean water for 183 Nairobi homes.
Wow.
And then we know that that's going to continue to multiply because in the class in Greece also is going to be selling copies of their children's fairy tale, which is amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
And so the proceeds of that is going to go to benefit Project LINC as well.
And
then
it's
good.
It's amazing.
It's really
yes.
good.
Is it in iBooks?
It will be within the next week or two.
Yeah.
It'll be for sale on Amazon.
Ah, all right.
And then we just opened up our T-shirt sales again. We have more students that want to, so we're kicking that off as well. So we know that we have clean water for the schools. We've got 183 homes, but we're continuing to keep going.
And we tell the kids, when you have a possibility of 9 to 12 people in one family or one house, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Our students are on fire. They are just, they're so excited and they're so invested, and they consider the students in Nairobi and the students in Greece their friends. And it's really made the learning personal for the kids. They know that they have confidence now in the vision that they can change the world because they have. So they will say, we thought this was a long shot, but we really are. So that's been so inspiring for us.
And I even think that when my Skype page on Friday came up with Teacher Livingston's birthday, the kids immediately like, well, we have to say we're happy birthday to him. It's his birthday. The fact that they even have that connection with those teachers too, they see them as just as much a teacher as we are here. So I think that's a cool part.
Yeah, one of the things that I'm most looking forward to, when I'm over, for my 10 days in Kenya, is on the 8th when the life straws are being installed and dispersed to the kids, being able to call all of the different kids that raised money we're participating in this project, and let them see firsthand the good that they're doing, so that they can feel that joy that comes from doing good to others, that they're already feeling anyway. But to see it live, I think, is going to be a pretty special experience. Yeah. And one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about service projects and this project in particular is, when kids start feeling that in an early age, that's when you get them developing into adults that are going to be the real world changers, that are going to affect positive change in the world. And so, you want them to get that experience so that they want to do it more. And so many mission statements in schools talk about lifelong learners. This is what it means to be a lifelong learner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they I know our students that they're like, well, we're really excited that we have that. We have clean water for the schools, but another goal is clean water for the homes. And so their question was, well, that's not enough. That's not enough for all the homes. And so then the kids themselves, not from us, but they said, well, that's okay because we'll be here next year.
Yeah.
And so
even our 6th graders have said, we'll teach our 6th graders how to do this.
So we love the idea that they're, that it was from them. They don't want to stop. They want to keep going until problem solved.
Well, and even we had started, originally with one school, and it was our 7th graders who said, no, we need both schools. We need to do this for both schools.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about how this project got started? I mean, what was the one moment that sparked the kids' interest in getting involved?
Well, there was Andrea and I and Mike are all Skype master teachers, and I believe it was Halloween night that Teacher Livingston posted about the water contamination problem in Nairobi and around his school. And so some of the Skype master teachers, were talking about ways to help. And so then, I know we personally wanted to help. And so then we just started talking about how we could do something in our classes, how I had ideas on how to use math to show our students about it because I knew it was good for my own child. And so our students are also our children too. And so it was just collaboration between us. And so then Andrea started talking about the science implications of it. And then we had an in-service, a teacher professional learning day that we just emailed out and invited anyone that wanted to participate to come to our room. And so we just collaborated and kind of shared the vision. And I think the more people that you get involved in something like that, then it snowballs and more are willing to and want to. And when you make it personal, I think that helps as well. And then Iro is also a Skype master teacher, and she had connected with our students in December. She also knew Livingston, and so I had messaged with her a little bit about what we were doing, and she said, "How can we help?" And we knew that her student skill set was in web design and some of those things, and so Andrea and I Skyped with her and said, "Well, here's how you can help," and she unhesitatingly went with it and brought a whole other element to the project to bring another aspect to global learning.
Help us document it for others, and it spread like wildfire. I mean, we've had talking to people, they've seen it on either Twitter or seen it on Facebook, and then we're seeing it pop up around the nation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just talked to we had a newspaper reporter here this morning that I was talking to about the project to get us a little bit more exposure and share some of the amazing things that kids are doing. So often you hear about global collaboration, and that's a term that's thrown out, or global learning, and sometimes it just means that you're playing mystery Skype with someone in a different location, or you have a call with someone else where you're on a virtual field trip, which are all things that I'm passionate about and think need to be part of the classroom. But when you have kids taking it to this level, and actually, like you said before, changing the world, literally changing the world, that's some pretty spectacular stuff. And this is what school can be. This is what school should be about. And
to experience it at such a young age, because that's, like you said, that ignites that passion that stays with them forever.
Yeah. And one of the things we're working on that has, one thing leads to another, right? So here we are, we're working on Project LINC and the distance teaching project, which is the original reason that I was traveling over to Kenya to document where our kids are creating short learning videos using our math materials for kids in Kibera, and those kids are in return teaching us Swahili through video. So those projects kind of snowballed, and I found out through a friend of a friend and a contact about a teaching farm that's just north of Nairobi, where places in rural Kenya can send representatives to go to this farm and learn how to take a quarter acre and turn it into a garden that sustains the entire village. And so we've connected with this teaching farm, and through that connection and a connection with the New York Botanical Garden, our kindergarten students, so the youngest kids in our school, are actually spearheading a project for us to have a community garden that's going to provide fresh produce for our local food pantry next year. And we're in the midst of writing some grants and allowing them to do that. And there they are, kindergarten kids that are going to be providing that service for the community, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome when it all comes together.
Really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Karen, any other awesome stuff going on in your school?
Hey, Mike, we are about to, our next class is about to start, so Andrea and I are going to have to sign off.
Okay, that's great. Well, before you go,
we'll find you on YouTube and hear about it, though.
Yeah, before you go, can you give us what's the final number? About how much money has Project raised
I
so far?
believe we're around $5,800.
Yeah, and that doesn't include the extra donations that Vestergaard is putting in with the life straws they're donating, right?
Correct. Yeah, theirs is well over $2,000.
Yeah, spectacular. All right, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks so much. Thanks for having us.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you.
So, Karen, what other awesome stuff is going on in Texas?
Well, in my district, Texas is so big, so we'll just focus on.
Right, but we know that you're part of Texas. Well, and Andrea's not here, so I can say this, right? Your part of Texas is the more important part, right? So.
Yes. No. No, right over in our district, there's lots of things going on, but some things that I kind of directly have my toes in right now is my group here. I'll just show you them. We're all working really hard to get ready for a STEM conference that we have. We were invited to be a part of the STEM conference here in our district, and so we were trying to find out, how do we take some of the cookie cutter science lessons that we have in our district and actually change them a little bit so that it's not direct step by step to learn a science process, but actually how do we turn it into STEM so that kids are having to create with it. So I guess right now we're trying to create a little problem with a frog in the El Paso Zoo who's lost his tongue. And maybe inspire the students to kind of help create a tongue that would be adaptable for this frog. And so, just kind of some fun things. And then we could utilize our iPad to document the learning and create videos and share. So there's, some fun things that we're doing so that learning just is going to continue on the last couple weeks of school. And then we also have this amazing iPad rollout that's going to happen where we'll have about 8 iPads in every pre-K and K title campus. That's elementary here. So we're getting together a lot of extra hours off of work time to look at apps and really focus on having our kindergartners and pre-kinders creating with those apps. Mm-hmm. So we're keeping all of those intervention apps off and trying to stay away from too many consumption apps, but actually bringing it in so that when they're working in centers that the iPad is then a part of that learning and a part of them, creating videos and sharing them and using it for learning in a different way.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the fact that kids are trying to design a prosthetic tongue for a frog in the zoo. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, that's just awesome. Yeah, I mean the iPad stuff's cool too, but
yeah. Well, we're bringing in our technology by documenting the learning. So we actually have this free slow-mo camera that we had them download because our iPads don't come with that slow-mo video. Ooh. So we're going to have them take the slow-mo and just kind of compare it to what a real frog tongue does, So we're bringing in the technology.
I'm writing that down because I need to get my hands on that, especially with me going to be teaching science next year.
Yeah, well, I think it's called Slow-Mo Pro. It's the free version, but it still works a lot like the iPhone's slow-mo video. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah. All right. So what was for lunch today?
It's in my car. Turkey and pico de gallo. Mm-mm.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I made myself a salad because I know after this week, with 2 weeks traveling around Kenya, I'm probably not going to get all that much fresh produce unless I can peel it or, unless it's grilled up pretty good. I'm probably not going to eat it. So I'm trying to get as much salad in as I can this week.
So you are going to send us pictures of what you're eating out there, right? Because I'm very curious.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to document everything. I mean, I take a ton of pictures anyway. And one of the things that I'm really excited about, even before I get to Kenya, I'm going to have a stopover in Amsterdam. And I'm meeting a friend who's a Microsoft Innovative Educator expert. And it just so happens that the day in Amsterdam, it is Remembrance Day there, where they celebrate the people who died during World War II and other conflicts since then. And then the following day is Liberation Day, when the Canadians actually liberated the Netherlands from the Nazis. So we're going to, if we can find Wi-Fi, we're going to do it live. But if not, I've got kids in Kansas and kids in our school, and you're welcome to, if you have a class that wants to submit, give us questions that people want answered about those holidays in the Netherlands. And I'm actually going to do a live interview with her with a cool place like in Dam Square, or somewhere in Amsterdam, where we can get those questions answered for kids. So
so you're
before I get there.
You're taking your iPhone and a hotspot? How are you going to do this?
Well, Amsterdam's tough because I'm not going to buy a SIM card just for one day in there. So we're going to look for a cafe that has Wi-Fi. But if not, I'll record it and then upload it to YouTube afterwards.
Sweet, that'll work.
Yeah. So good stuff. All right, then we will see you next week. And next week I'm going to try and join you guys, but I may be in the Amsterdam airport. So if I can find a quiet little spot with some free Wi-Fi, I'll join you guys. Otherwise, I'll catch up with you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good. I'm excited to hear about your journey and see that impact in the faces. And I don't know. I'm excited about it.
Should be awesome. So, all right. Good talking to you, Karen. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.